Two brothers, one future king, one prince who walked away from royal life, and a relationship that once appeared almost unbreakable. Prince William and Prince Harry grew up together in one of the world's most famous families. They shared the same parents, the same childhood spotlight, the same devastating loss, and for many years, they appeared to be each other's closest allies. But today, their relationship is one of the most closely watched family dramas in the world. So what happened between Prince William and Prince Harry? Was it Meghan Markle? Was it the pressure of royal life? Was it Harry's decision to leave? Or were the brothers simply growing apart long before the world noticed? Tonight, we're going back through the story from two young princes united by tragedy to two brothers separated by an extraordinary public rift. And by the end, you may see the disagreement very differently. Prince William was born in 1982. Prince Harry followed 2 years later in 1984. They were the sons of Charles, then Prince of Wales, and Diana, Princess of Wales. Their childhood was anything but ordinary. They were born into the British monarchy, surrounded by tradition, enormous public attention and expectations about their future. But despite their royal status, William and Harry were also simply brothers. They went to school, played sports, went on family holidays and were frequently photographed together. Then, in 1997, everything changed. Their mother, Diana, Princess of Wales, died in a car crash in Paris. William was 15, Harry was only 12. The world watched as the two boys walked behind their mother's coffin during her funeral. That moment became one of the defining images of their childhood, and for years afterward, William and Harry appeared to share a unique bond. They had experienced something few people could understand. They had lost their mother while growing up under the world's spotlight. The tragedy seemed to bring them closer. But as they became adults, their lives began moving in different directions. William's future was clear. He was second in line to the throne and eventually expected to become king. Harry's position was different. As the younger brother, he had more freedom to create his own identity. He developed a reputation as the more rebellious and adventurous prince. He joined the British Army and served in Afghanistan, becoming particularly associated with military service and the Invictus Games. For a while, William and Harry even worked closely together. In 2009, a joint household was established for the two princes, supporting their public, military and charitable activities. And in 2018, when Harry married Meghan Markle, William was there. Harry chose his older brother as his best man. At that point, few people could have imagined how dramatically their relationship would change. Harry met Meghan Markle in 2016. Their relationship quickly became a global sensation. In May 2018, they married at St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle. Millions watched the ceremony. For a moment, it looked like a new chapter for the royal family. Harry and Meghan became senior working royals. They traveled internationally, attended official events and developed their own charitable interests. But the pressure of royal life was intense. The couple faced enormous media attention, public criticism and constant scrutiny. Behind the scenes, reports of tensions began to emerge. Exactly what happened between the brothers privately is known only to them and those closest to them. But publicly, the relationship appeared to be changing. And then came one of the biggest decisions in modern royal history. In January 2020, Harry and Meghan announced that they intended to step back as senior working members of the royal family. The announcement shocked the world. The royal family later confirmed an agreement under which the couple would no longer be working members of the family and would become financially independent. Harry and Meghan eventually established their lives in the United States. For Harry, this was about creating a different life for himself, Meghan and their children. But leaving the royal family was not simply a change of address. It changed the relationship between Harry and the institution, and inevitably affected his relationship with other members of his family. The brothers were no longer living the same royal life. William remained inside the institution. Harry had stepped outside it, and that difference would become increasingly important. In 2021, Harry and Meghan sat down with Oprah Winfrey for a television interview. What followed was an international media storm. The couple spoke openly about their experiences as members of the royal family and the pressures they said they had faced. Harry also discussed his relationship with William and his father. The interview placed previously private family tensions directly into the public conversation. For Harry and Meghan's supporters, it was an opportunity to tell their side of the story. For their critics, it raised questions about whether private family disagreements should have been discussed publicly. Either way, the damage to the brothers' relationship appeared increasingly difficult to ignore. Then came another major turning point. In January 2023, Prince Harry released his memoir, Spare. The book became an international bestseller, but it also generated intense controversy. Harry described his childhood, his relationship with his family and his experiences within the monarchy. His account included deeply personal descriptions of his relationship with William. For Harry, the memoir represented his version of events. But from the perspective of the royal family, the publication created another difficult chapter. The problem was no longer simply a disagreement between two brothers behind closed doors. Their conflict had become part of a global public conversation. Every interview created another headline. Every statement created another debate. And every new revelation made reconciliation appear more complicated. This is where the story becomes particularly interesting. Whenever people discuss Harry and William's rift, Meghan Markle is often placed at the center of the story. But reducing the entire disagreement to Meghan would be an oversimplification. Harry's relationship with the royal family involved many issues: his experiences with the media, his decision to step away from royal duties, his desire for independence, disagreements over security, and his public accounts of family life. Meghan became an important part of the story because she was Harry's wife and because the couple made many major decisions together. But the relationship between William and Harry is ultimately their own relationship. And neither brother has publicly revealed every detail of what happened privately. So when you see dramatic claims online about exactly what one brother supposedly said to the other, remember, not everything reported about the royal family is confirmed fact. Some details remain private. There is another important factor. Prince William is not simply Harry's older brother. He is the heir to the throne. That means his relationship with the monarchy is fundamentally different from Harry's. William has remained a working royal and is preparing for his future role as king. Harry, meanwhile, chose a life outside the working monarchy. That doesn't automatically mean the brothers cannot have a relationship, but it does mean they are now living completely different lives. William has responsibilities to the institution. Harry has responsibilities to his own family and the life he chose outside the institution. Perhaps that is one reason the paths became so difficult to reconcile. Now comes the question millions of royal watchers continue to ask. Can Prince William and Prince Harry ever repair their relationship? The answer is impossible to know. But there have been signs that Harry has wanted reconciliation with his family. In 2025, Harry publicly spoke about wanting reconciliation and said there was no point in continuing to fight. Later that year, Harry met privately with his father, King Charles, after a lengthy period without an in-person meeting. That meeting did not mean that every family disagreement had suddenly disappeared. But it demonstrated something important. Family relationships can change, and perhaps reconciliation does not necessarily mean returning to the way things were before. Sometimes reconciliation simply means finding a way to communicate again. The story of William and Harry is ultimately much bigger than royal gossip. It is a story about two brothers who experienced the same childhood tragedy but developed very different lives. One stayed within the institution. The other left. One became the future king. The other built a new life thousands of miles away. And somewhere between those two paths, a relationship that once appeared incredibly close became deeply strained. But perhaps there is still one thing that William and Harry have in common. They are brothers. They both lost their mother. They both grew up under extraordinary public pressure. And no matter what has happened, those shared experiences can never be erased. Maybe the question isn't whether they will become exactly the brothers they once were. Maybe the real question is whether they can eventually find a new relationship, one based not on royal duties, public expectations or old arguments, but simply on being family. Because behind the titles, behind the palaces, behind the headlines, they are still two brothers. And perhaps that is the part of this story the world understands best. But what do you think? Was Prince Harry's decision to leave the royal family the main reason his relationship with Prince William changed? Or do you believe there were deeper problems between the brothers? Comment your opinion below. And if you enjoy royal stories, royal mysteries and fascinating celebrity facts, make sure you subscribe to Royal Fame Flex, because there is always another royal story waiting to be uncovered.